Stick me up. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mia, aka Nene from Pink Houses.
And I am Gorgeous Gordy from Brownsville.
Yes, and you are tuned into Parables from the Projects podcast. We're so excited to be back with you today. And so, like we always have, and like we always like to do, well, we don't always have guests, but sometimes we're able to bring amazing guests. And so we have an awesome, wonderful woman of God with us today. And we're so excited to have her. So we have Sonya Denyse. I'll tell you a little bit about her a little bit later on, but make sure that if you are tuned in, you leave us a review and you share this with a few friends, man. You might learn how to develop your dreams. All right. So like we always like to do in the first portion of our podcast is a what's going on segment. So Pops, what's going on?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? What's going on is this hair. Wow. Where did I get the hair? Nah. But the hair is crazy. I don't know what to do. Hair just started growing on my head. I was 20, 30 years, I was bald. I don't know if you noticed, but since 90, I didn't have hair. Oh, no, I had hair when you graduated. You graduated. That's the last time I had hair. That. So this is new for me, just as it is for y'all every time you see it. Yeah. But what's going on in my life, man, is like, I might have said this before, but like I do stand-up comedy now, right? So I have critics on both sides, some good critics, some bad critics. The thing is, how do you be? So I'm from the hood. How you be real? You never heard that saying, like, keep it real, like, how do you be like? Yeah, that's the word I got. Like, how do you keep it real? And I'm finding it really hard to keep it real. Like being an OG. Like I'm a real OG from Brownsville. Not that means anything, but I'm just saying that's who I am now. I mean, if I walk through Brownsville, be like, yo, OG. I mean, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to make me sound like I'm some great or was all that big in Brownsville. I'm just saying I am who I am. But But me being who I am, I can see, you know what I'm saying? I see like stuff, that's right in my face. Like, and I don't know how to handle it. Like, I want to get on stage sometimes and be like, I don't care about the transgenders, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. Everybody's a human being. And in my mind, I'm like, everybody bleeds the same. I don't understand why we even got to put labels on everybody. And then everybody gets a title. Like, it's the LGBT. Everybody, we Black or African American, Hispanic, Caucasian, everybody gets a title, and we all people. You know what I'm saying? It's freaking me out. I'm 57 now, and it's freaking me out. Like, how do you be real? Like, nobody's better than nobody. Right, thousands of people died in the World Trade Center, and whether America did it or China or the terrorists did it, whoever did it, it happened. Like what day do we grow up and just stop letting? Like, being a comic, like, I got a microphone, so when I get up there, sometimes they be saying I bomb, but I be saying stuff like, "What happened to Black Lives Matter?" Like, it just disappeared, and I know people saying, nah, they working in the backgrounds. No, it was on front page. And it's like hard to just look by that. And it's hard to look by gangsters who snitch. And it's hard to look by this stuff for me. So it's like, how do you get a microphone and you want to be real? Because you from Dick Gregory era. You're not from his era, but that's your heroes, Paul Mooney and Richard Pryor and them. And they can say a lot of things on, and they still make money. But now, if you say something now, you get X'd out of your whole vision of your career, your thing. So it's kind of like another struggle of mine. It's like having to be like to keep it real, like in a sense, like I don't know how dictionary people put it, keep it real, but I'm quite sure there's some word out there that's long and that means, authentic or something, So that's all. That's what's going on in me. I'm trying to keep it real.
Cool. Good. I think it comes by ego, not Okay, got you. Trying to keep it real. For me, what's going on is I would say I'm looking to fail more, right? So, what does that mean? I think that failure is the room for success. Dr. Al Bernard, he always says that as a principle, right? And I also, yesterday, Samantha, I believe her name is, told me about, what was coming to her mind, which resonated with me. And I said on the live yesterday was that, when you die, what do you want to look back and have? Do you want to have, regrets, or do you want to have failures? And I know people always say, do you want to suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? I don't like discipline, but failures, I can do that. So I'm like, okay, boom. Like, I'm going to put out content. I'm going to, go after my dream. I'm going to do what I have to do. But, I'm looking to, hey, I might fail, but, I want to, because I know that when I fail, I'm going to learn a lesson, right? And you don't really like ever fail, quote unquote, as I think that people would traditionally look at it as failure. But you put something out there, and if it doesn't work out as planned, guess what? You learn something either way. So that's what's going on with me, looking to fail more. I don't want all of my things. I want to be, successful, of course, but I think Michael Jordan, talks about how he might be, one of the greatest players, but look at all the shots. Nobody talks about all the shots he didn't take. So it's because of all the shots that he missed, you know what I mean, that he was so great. So anyhow, without further ado, thank you very much for allowing us to, come to you and listening to our What's Going On segment. But we are going to bring on our guests.
Bam, Sonya, boom, back in the days.
Boom,
Day
boom.
one,
yes.
Before I even had a braid, before I had a piece of hair on my head. Big Sonya in the building.
Big Sonya in the building.
This is our special. This is our oracle.
Word.
I don't know if y'all saw the Matrix, but this is where we go. And we haven't been to the oracle in a minute, so you don't know what's gonna happen here or what's gonna happen after here. Yo.
Right. So I'm going to bring her on, but I'm also going to just share her bio with you, what I'm saying, while we bring her on real quick. And it's a short one because she has done so much. Of course, like my pop said, in our lives and my life personally, I've known her since while I was in grad school in 2006. So that was some years ago. But yes, I'll just tell you a little bit about her real quick. Sonya's quirky, brilliant, puts dreams into action. Part artist, part strategist, and always the creative, Sonya lives what she loves and helps others do the same. Her career spans the public and private sectors in the industry of private equity, economic development, and entertainment. A magna cum laude graduate of New York University, she maximizes resources, curates connections, speaks innovations, thinks in campaigns, and dreams in digitals. Where some see problems, Sonya sees possibilities. She grew up in the Colonials, now known as the Wrangell Houses in Harlem, New York. So she has some parables from the projects to tell you. No, go ahead. I mean, this is a conversation.
You grew up, them projects was called the freaking Colonials?
Ain't that deep? Ain't that deep? Yes, the Colonial Houses. And then they were renamed after Congressman Wrangell's father, I believe. So that's why they're the Ralph J. Wrangell Houses. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right there. In your all right, good.
Yeah, right there. So y'all welcome Sonya to the podcast. Friend of the podcast. She has been on before, but in a bigger group. So y'all might have heard her, in past episodes. But this time she's our feature guest.
Yay. So, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, man.
Sonya, on this, I know people say I will go to the left, but the love thing behind you, I work out at night while I'm drinking or whatever, and I work out full workout like 2 a.m. in the morning. Every video I ended with everybody, love everybody. Just threw that out there, and you got the love back there, so know you're in the right place at the right time, in the right space.
Yeah, there's my little cousins and I painted this wall. So yeah, the 5-year-old, the 11-year-old, the 12-year-old, we did that.
I love it, man. And that's the painter. So y'all got that right there too. Bam. Listen, let's make it happen. All right. So we always, of course, like to ask people when they come on the podcast about, where they grew up and what types of, lessons did you learn, in your childhood. So can you tell us a little bit about, growing up in the colonial houses and, anything that, it may have taught you?
Yeah, first off, I want to acknowledge both for what you all said. I was taking notes. Gordy, from the authenticity challenge to the opportunity to fail, which I see as growth. And I think that when I think about growing up, being authentic and failure are definitely themes that I can relate to even in my early childhood. My parents are from the North Kakalaki, North Carolina. And I do feel like the projects, when I reflected back on it, always felt like growing up in a small town. Everybody knows everybody's business. There was this time where if you were out and you said something, they wouldn't like saying, whose people are you? Who do I need to tell about your behavior? And then there was this shift where it was like, tell them. Like kids started talking back, and it was like, yeah, it got real like, ooh. And I feel like I was in that time frame where folks got, feisty with the elders. So it was kind of interesting. I think that I always felt like Harlem was this place of possibility because my mom and dad decided that I'm part of 21 grandkids on my dad's side, 22, and my brother and I were raised here. And I always felt incredibly fortunate that I was here in New York City, in Harlem, with Black people, with creatives. So growing up in the projects was this kind of space for me to see their sacrifice. Right? Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but I saw their choices and I saw the sacrifices they were making for my brother and myself. And I was like, and what that did for me as a child is it gave me this sense of responsibility. And I felt like my parents are never going to meet everybody I meet. So I have the responsibility to be the best human I can be everywhere I go. So that's part of what was going on then. I think it was interesting being authentic because I sounded like this then. So my folks were like, why do you sound white?
Right.
That's messed up. That is so messed up.
Straight up in the projects on a regular basis. And I was just like, first off, why is it that this seems like it's not Black? So that's a problem, right? There's that. And then I was like, and I used to try to sometimes fit in ways that, and again, not all of my friends had that feedback from me, but I'm talking about this in the neighborhood, not the folks I was in school with, but people who would run across me and playing with me. And it was like, she's different. And so when I say that my quirky brilliance, I've always been quirky, different. And I appreciated the friends who could receive that and then took note of the ones who didn't. Because I was like, probably not a good idea. I might be getting in some fights if I don't like back away. Because difference isn't always celebrated. So when you talk about being on stage, Gordy, and trying to tell your truth, when it's too different from what people are comfortable with, you become the problem. And now they're coming for you. So I think it's an age tale as old as time. And I think that especially if you think about a small city, a small town mindset, being different wasn't necessarily celebrated either. So, that was interesting. And then failure was interesting too, because I see failure as growth.
Yeah. And
so I was really successful as a kid academically. I felt like I was failing in friendships because people didn't like me. And then I decided, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to be okay with that. And I feel like that gave me a backbone that allowed me not to be pressured by people trying to please people. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And you know what? I feel like, I'm glad that didn't stop you. I'm I don't know who it was that, inspired you to I feel like you said your parents, you saw their sacrifice. So they were a great inspiration to you. But, because you could have, had that reality with the failed friendships and all of that and just kind of, kept to yourself and just was like, oh, what was me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what people like that do? They go to, so it's weird. You in the hood, like when you find a group that likes you, and the group that liked me was all the dope heads, the drug dealers, the hustlers, the pickpocket. That's how, and I went to them. Yeah, if I had the, I didn't have that. I was like peer pressure. You say go to let's jump off roof. I'd be like, heck no, I ain't doing that. Right. You say, come on, man, let's do it. I'd be like, all right, let's go. So, yeah, from you saying that you had to withstand. Yeah, I always say it about people who succeeded from the hood without doing drugs and without getting pregnant, without getting involved. Because it was so right there. Like the doors are this close. Literally, your apartment's here, his door's here.
That's right.
The way you would have to wait for each other to get out. So literally, you that close. You see these people every day,
right? Or going into the stairwell and walking into some stuff. Like,
elevator be broke.
Like, whoa.
We used to shoot dice in the staircase, like 10 dudes. You know how small a project stair do? And then old ladies got to come down the elevator. We like, okay, Miss Johnson. All right, we sorry, Miss Johnson. We sorry.
I should talk about my dad too, because my mom worked. My dad was disabled. But my dad was disabled after having been this football hero, right? So he came to New York to take care of his family, got hurt on the job. And so my mom ended up going out and working. And so he was uber protective of me. And, my brother is just 2 years older than me, or 3 years, give him, whatever the day is. And he was, again, given boy freedom, and I had girl freedom, which was, it's dark, get upstairs. Not only is it dark, get upstairs, but if you don't get upstairs right before it starts to get dark, I'll be downstairs. And then it will get real for you. Like a real, that will be real. And I know that while I had this sense of responsibility, I also had this sense of like, I don't want to get beat in front of my friends. So I was like, let me get my little honey upstairs.
Right. Lights come on.
So I actually had to stay away from some of those elements, I think, Gordy, because my father was so protective of me.
I feel that.
Wow. Yeah, man.
In a scary way. Like,
yeah. I know some parents. It was like 3 parents in the whole hood. Like out of the whole project, it was 3 parents that when they beat our ass. So they would beat our ass and take us to our parents and be like, yeah, I beat his ass and my son's ass.
Right.
My mom would be like, yeah, you want some water? You want something to drink?
Right.
Just supporting it. Wow.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I'm gonna tell you, man, if we could get this, like, I always say this about people who make it out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this is some basic stuff. Like, everybody's not a criminal. There's grandmothers in the hood. There's 2-year-old kids. There's 5-year-old kids. There's 7-year-old kids. There's every group of people in the hood. Then you got drug dealers and hustlers, and they only take up like small percentage.
Right.
Like everybody else is trying to earn a living, raise their kids, go to school. Ain't nobody really trying to fight. They think when people get off or they hear about that colonial stuff, I got to use that on stage. I don't know how I missed that. But
first off, the fact that the name was Colonials. I'm like, I seriously, just telling Mia now, I was like, man, given the times that we're in, the mindset, and we weren't subject to it, but the fact that that's what you call it.
Right.
Have you ever been to Chicago's projects? Like,
I know we've been like, right. I saw documentaries.
I went to give turkeys out, man. It looked like I went to all the hoods to give turkeys out with this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always said Brownsville projects are like condominiums compared to Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, all them hoods. We don't touch that.
No, them the originals.
Originals, like, yeah. Them dudes live in poverty.
I was in Chicago for a project that I was working on, and the bus driver, I asked her to drop me by my hotel. Mm-hmm. And so I said, hey, is this it? And it was like literally blocks and blocks away. But she dropped me in front of I can only describe this as, Oz, that TV show on HBO, Oz, and like the area where they would have to be outside. That's what it felt like to drop me in front of. And I saw boarded up, built with right next to it, a full-on apartment.
That's exactly how I remember it. They have people. It's like two people live in a building with nobody else in that building, and it's literally plywood on the front with graffiti.
Right.
They got to come out every day and come home from work. Yeah.
So I'm walking, and folks. So I have on a business suit. I'm like, and I just start diddy bopping. I was like, I'm gonna be all right.
I do that. I swear I do that to this day.
I was like, what they call it, code switching, whatever it was. I was like, listen, folks are like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. You good? Like,
I be having my hand in my pocket. I put my hand in my pocket like I got something, and I be like, call the cops.
Right, you just gotta add that little,
You gotta add that little bebop because you can't be walking there soft. You know what I'm saying?
Looking like Target, like no. I felt fine. Like I didn't feel like I was a target. I felt like they needed to know I wasn't.
Right. Yeah, you just gotta put everybody on.
That's a t-shirt. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, they need to know that you're not a target.
Right.
And then on the low. Yeah, I'm not giving nothing up. I got $3 and you cannot have it. Yeah, it was gonna be a problem. I think you let them know it's gonna be a problem. I hate that feeling, but
yeah, and that's the other thing, though. I mean, so I wrote this article once about. I compared Harlem to Nazareth because it was like, and I called it "Can anything good come from there?" Because at the time that I was growing up, and I think the Apollo was closed at that point. JJ, the Good Times was on, and I wanted to be, I wanted to get out the projects. I wanted to be George Jefferson. Those were the things that I kind of were my juxtaposition, right? And it's funny because
position. What is juxtaposition?
So I was between the reality of feeling like this artist, like JJ was this artist who had all this great potential in Good Times,
right?
And he could make it out, but if only he could sell his art, or if only he could do whatever. And then on the opposite side, juxtaposition is, as opposed to that, was George Jefferson, who likely came from something similar, but he had moved on up. Right. He had made it to these, so it was just like, okay, that's what's possible, but this looks like what my reality is. And I had, juxtaposed. And or like this. I don't know. I had family members who had better opportunities, it seemed. Maybe living in the suburbs, or maybe living, going to different schools. And there was this kind of energy like, you're the product of your environment. And I was like, actually, I'm the product of my response to my environment.
I love that.
Every day, projects or not. Today, like whatever today brings, I'm responding to it. I'm not subject to it. Things are happening for me, not to me. And learning that and walking like that with this sense of judgment that wasn't necessarily stated, obviously, but you know how some family members kind of can make you feel like you're not as good as they are because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
That part. So I wrote this article about, they didn't expect much from Jesus either.
Right.
That's a fact.
So I'm gonna be good.
Yep. Jesus is from the hood. Yeah, we got to think about it.
So being underestimated is just, kind of part of the conversation.
I love it.
Par for the course, what they say?
Makes for a great story. Makes for a great plot twist.
Come on, storyteller.
Hello. And there's stories we aren't even trying to write that are being written for us. And if we would just
Sonya, let's go to the bar, man. Let's stop the podcast. Sonya, come on over, man. Man, I gotta talk to you about some stuff. We do a podcast about something else, but we need to what they call it, politic. Back in the day, it's politics like that.
So speaking of plot twists, you know what I mean? Because of course, statistically speaking, they don't expect, kids from the projects, let's say, to go on to LaGuardia High School. They don't expect kids from the projects to go on to graduate magna cum laude from NYU, New York University. Don't expect them to,
Wait, just Magna. What's Magna's the top dog?
No, that's second.
Oh,
it's
Magna, right?
Summa.
She's Magna too, man.
Oh, with Magna?
Yeah, she's a Magna, man. I'm a GED. I got JID. I got a JID.
Thank you, Lottie. Thank you, Lottie.
Thank you, Lottie. Made it over.
Thank you, Lottie.
Yeah. Like magna cum laude. He's like, I'm thank you, Lottie. Like, just thank you that I graduated.
All right.
Yeah.
My bad. 90s.
Yeah. So how did that come about? Like I'm saying, definitely, the top art school, probably in the country, in the world. You know what I mean? Like, what was even the inspiration to go there? What did you do while you were there? And then, what did you do in your education? Let's just talk about your education and how it helped you as well.
That's fair. That's really important. My motivation to go there was free. Let me explain. No, seriously, I'm not
being colonized for so many years.
Let my people. So I was like, so what happened is when I was 12, I discovered I could sing. And I was like, oh shoot. Like I got like this something here. I was always writing. I was writing poetry and always writing stories and plays. I had all my friends in plays. I directed a play in 5th grade. Like I was always creative. Like I was born to be creative. And so I got, good God, I'm telling myself, the Yellow Pages.
Okay, hey.
And I started looking up programs for gifted kids who were talented. And I just started looking to find where I could get trained. Because we were not wealthy, because we were poor, P-O, without the O and the O. I was just like, where can I go get trained? And my mom is so awesome because I was calling these folks on the phone, just kind of talking to them, asking them how much it was. And I would say, hey, so this is what it looks like. We're like, we can't afford that. I'm like, okay, let me call some more people. Do you have scholarships? Like, and it's like, are you like 9 or 12?
Right. Do you have scholarships?
So I was driven by this desire to develop potential. And so I constantly looked for opportunities. We had this really great 5th grade teacher who was an opera singer. So he made us listen to like opera and classical music, but he was also like very, very clear about helping us identify with our history. So we had this whole thing that we did around like Black History Month, and I created the show. And if I have friends on here now, they'll be like, you had me as the banana, and I was like, yep. So I was directing, and so it was all that. So going to the High School of the Arts was a non-negotiable for me. Like I needed to get in there. And so in junior high school, I actually, oh my God, do I have that picture? I'm not going to show it to you. In junior high school, I ended up working with a drama teacher, and I gave up my lunch hours, and she trained me, and I auditioned to get in for acting. I also auditioned for singing, and I also tried to dance, but they were like, sweetheart, not today. But my thinking was every point of access that I could get to give me exposure into the school, I was taking it. And so I did get in. Yay! And that was very fun. And I decided, because acting lessons were less expensive than singing lessons, I became a vocalist.
Okay. Got you.
So that's how I got into LaGuardia, or the High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts.
Okay. I love it. Okay. And then from there, you decided to go to NYU.
So I applied to NYU out of spite.
Out of spite? Why?
Because I had applied. I thought Jesus was coming back. And I wasn't applying to school. I was 17. Okay. Anyway, so I had this teacher who was like, oh, you can't get in anyway. And I was like, oh, but I can. So I applied out of spite. And then when I got in, I was like, you don't really have any plans. So you should probably go there.
Right.
And the revelation was that while I applied and got in and got scholarships, there was no savings for me to actually go to NYU. So what happened at NYU is I ended up there for a full year, and I was about to drop out. I had started directing a theater company when I was in high school, and ended up having that theater company perform, and someone in the audience said to me, "What has this group done for you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the director." And true to my life, I tend to look younger than I am. So she didn't know that I was the director of the group. And then afterwards, she said, "By the way, NYU covers tuition remission for people who do what you do." And I ended up joining what was called the creative arts team and got my tuition paid for at least, I guess, a good year. And then I went back to school full time.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sonya, so look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's all great. But your time, how do you do, like, women have a lot of problems. I mean, men and women. I'm just saying, we have a lot of problems. How do you, so people say you got friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got boyfriends or they got girlfriends or whatever they got, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and drugs, you know what I'm saying, and crime, and you gotta fix your mind to do this stuff, right? So
Right.
say, like, you got the vision. So say you did all this stuff, but it had to be a thought first.
Right.
Like, when you thought about it, the problems that was going on in your life, you know what I'm saying? It probably was some stuff happening. It ain't like you woke up every day and it was beautiful, and it was this yellow brick road for you to follow to what you're talking about now.
I'll take you back.
Right. Now I'm trying to say what I know it wasn't yellow brick. So
it's crooked.
You had to go through some stuff.
Crooked road.
Yeah, you had to go through some stuff. You had to fall sometimes. You had to cry sometimes. You know what? Like, what made you the most nervous, what brought a tear to your eye saying, "Dang, I got to do this, but I don't really want to do it"? And have you ever quit and then start doing it again?
So I will say that I grew up in crisis. I grew up in an environment that was very volatile. I've had friends who said to me, "We thought that you were a full-grown adult," because they were like, "You don't seem like you have parents." And I think that the volatility of my home life caused me to basically carry all my books with me because I didn't know if something was going to jump off. And that's just honest. Like, it is. I have no disrespect, no like shade. I believe that God chose the parents that I have. I would not be the person I am today without that. And even in all their foibles and their successes, it has blessed me to be the person that I am. And I know that I've honored them in who I've become, my brother as well. So it wasn't always fun at home.
Yeah.
And that was a lot. I remember walking into junior high school one day, and this is crazy because I remember the young lady's name. I won't say her full name, but she came up to me with a bit of disgust and like surprise because I walked into the school after a hellish weekend of lots of drama. And she said, "You always have a smile on your face." I was like, if you knew what I was living.
Yeah, that's what we got. Because this people struggle. I want to quit every day. I want to quit every day. Every time somebody call me and say, "Yo, you got a show tonight, you get 7 minutes." My whole stomach hurts. I try to find excuses why not to do it. But then it's something. If this dude had told me one time, "This voices in my head that get me going. It's voices in my head that stop me," but I listen more to the voices in the head that, like you got, like my daughters, like, I listen to more of them voices, but them other voices are still there. I don't know who did the red devil on the left and right, but it's the truth. It happens. Like, I literally don't want to do this.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I have a gift of joy because when she said that to me, I said, either I'm a happy person who's sometimes depressed, or I'm a depressed person who's sometimes happy. Because at that point, I wasn't really sure because there was so much happening that I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I think that what has always been a through line for me is that I've tapped into the gifts that I have. Right. I was talking to someone recently, and I love that she said that she draws a circle for herself and says, "These are the things I can control, and these are the things I can't. And the things outside the circle are outside the circle. But what can I control? My attitude, my response, how I show up for people, that I'm not holding on to bitterness. And I actively practiced this as a child, because once I realized that the challenges that we were having in our household, I was like, okay, here are the 13 tips for raising yourself, because it was hard. Because they we talk about trauma now, and everybody talks about mental health and all that kind of stuff, but nobody was really having that conversation, especially
nobody. When you talk about trauma, bipolar, they keep dissecting people, but we didn't have none of that. So you had to deal with it, or just die, or just or go get some dope.
Man up.
Yeah.
Self-medicate, like all the things.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, and this, let's also take it back. So I was an atheist when I was younger, because I had decided that if God was good, then my life would not be trash. And it did not make sense intellectually to me to live through what we were living through. And for my mom to be like, we gonna, the Lord loves you. And I'm like, and I learned to pray is before I should process some of the stuff that was happening. And I was like, then I started giving her the side eye. And so then I had an encounter, I will call it a life and death experience at, I would say 11, that woke me up to the reality of God's protection in a way that nothing else could. And I knew that if it had not been for the presence of God, I would be dead.
Yeah,
wow.
That's crazy, right? How do you tell people, I got them same stories, and I think that's why we doing this, because I can't even tell people some of the stuff. They be like, nah, you lying.
That's you. No, that wasn't me.
God, for real. And then they be like, it ain't no God. I'd be like, all right, it's not. You right. It's not. I mean,
maybe not for you, but I know what I lived through.
Right.
And I can't make you see this. But when you see, like what you just did, Gordy, is you took me back to, hey, when wasn't it ever so whatever? Because I live in this space of this truth. So you might not be able to see the stuff behind the curtain.
Yeah. That's why.
And also, it's not necessarily for you to always know what's behind the curtain, because that's actually probably not your business. So it's also like, not you, but I mean those folks who are trying to like scratch the surface and why are you always smiling? It's like it'd have been a different conversation if she said, "How was your weekend?"
Right.
Because I'd have been like, "Sis,
yeah,
I'm just stitching it together right now. Like I'm holding it together." But I was listening to something on Earn Your Leisure, where Steve Harvey did this interview, and he said, everything you've ever gone through is proof that you've been through, that you had the ability to get through it. It's a very simple thing. And it's not unlike where it says, and this came to pass. But it doesn't mean you're not going to have to go through some stuff to get there. And going back to what you said, Gordy, what's your mindset? What's your mindset? What am I meditating on? What am I focused on? What do I believe about myself? And what do I believe that God believes about me? I personally believe that God smiles when he thinks of me. I think that he's smiling because we're together now. I don't have this thing of, I have to, like, he's mad at me and I need to, I don't live in that space. I don't live in that space of what I believe is a condemning mindset. And I ain't great. Like I'm not, I am I have my stuff, and I'm grateful for the stuff that I have so that I can trust in him and be brought through to a greater understanding. I have this statement. Another good friend of ours, I've shared this with her and I share it often, but there are two statements that I say. Well, there's this one that it's on a bookmark. And it says, when God looks at you, he doesn't see what's wrong. He sees what's missing. Because it's his heart to add it to us, right? To give us an experience that makes us more full in him, as opposed to, I'm just, wretched. And I am, but I'm not loved. That's a double negative. I'm loved.
I'm not loved, right? I am loved, yeah.
I am loved.
Not something. Did we do something with that?
Or maybe not.
No, not that. It was like a not. Yeah.
I love that.
Does that help? Did I?
No, I'm gonna tell you. So you every 1 hour podcast turn into this, and it's always on. It's always dead on, hit the nail on the head. And I'm really sick of even saying that. Yo, sweat, wow. It's like the God, like you said, we live by that principle. And people will never know what's going on in my life. If I told you everything that's going on in my life, and I told you everything I did in one day, you wouldn't even believe it. I'm taking care of dudes that just got out of jail for 33 years.
Right.
Why? Why am I running over there? Me and Mia do this all the time. We call it chasing donkeys, man. But nobody will know the stuff we do. They'll just see me on stage or something, and they'll be like, who this fine older dude, because I'm so, handsome. So they be like, where you get on looks? And I'll be like, yo, it's God. It ain't really me.
Gorgeous Gordy. Gorgeous Gordy.
Yeah. Gorgeous Gordy. I don't even see it. But yeah. Now, Sonia, for real, I love these talks, and I think I want to change my platform. I just want to have a couch. I want to want to just sit down and get, water or drinks or whatever people do. I don't want to isolate people. I don't want to cut people off no more. I'm so into what got you to the point. I'm so into like how do you be strong in a not strong situation?
Right.
Like we got family members that facing time. They got to be strong right now. We got to stand up.
Right.
You got to stand up. If you get it, you don't. You whatever. You ain't dead.
Right.
It's dudes in jails that write books.
Mm-hmm.
And I explain to people that I would love to go back to jail, and people be like, "No, that's bad." Blah blah blah. They think it's bad. I mean, I don't want to go back to jail, obviously, but I'm just saying,
like,
if that was my call, it's people in jail that probably need it. Mm-hmm. So if I got to jail for some reason and woke up in jail, I got to help these people in jail to go out there and probably save my kid's life. Because my daughter has had beef in Brownsville, and 2 o'clock in the morning, and some dude will be like, "Oh no, that's Gordy's daughter."
Right.
My daughter she fights, but she be fighting guys, and she needs help. So the dudes will look out. They be like, "Gordy, I saw your daughter yesterday, son, but I had everything." They be serious. Like, yo, man, thank you, but yo. Don't be killing people over my kid, because you're gonna be in jail and we ain't coming to see you. Don't be calling me I did it for your daughter.
Don't call my name, right? I got you.
Who knew my daughter was gonna be in the that need somebody to say, nah, that's Gordy's daughter.
Right.
And I would go, who am I? If I don't go to jail, if I don't grow up from Brownsville, if I ain't this handsome, tall, slender, muscular guy. Nah, but who? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's God's plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And you put in the fact that you are individually connected to God, and you ain't vertically connected or analogically, whatever the freak y'all got words, you Mumakalamis. What am I? What you said? What am I?
All the words.
No, what am I? What'd you call?
Oh, good Lordy. No, thank you, Lordy. Thank you, Lordy. Thank you,
Lordy. Going down in the books.
Yeah,
but no, but not for real, Sonya, man. We appreciate that, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything. I just really like them underlying stories because I need them now.
Right.
Because I'm ready to quit.
Yeah.
So we don't do this. Everything we say to you guys, we say to us. It's like we talking to a mirror. We just got later for. Let's tell everybody, and maybe they could tell us something that'll make us remember who we are in God.
Yeah, one of the things that I say, and I kind of said a short version of it, that things happen for you, not to you. And I think that one of the challenges is that when things happen, people often feel like, oh, this always happens to me. And it's like, but maybe it's happening for you, right? All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose, right? I have this statement and I try to explain it, but it's personal because I used to say, oh, it's not personal. Oh, yes, it is. If you slap me, that's personal. But the reason why you slap me is not my fault. It could be some other reason. It could be a mental situation. It could be you fell over and hit me as you were going down, And so I don't personalize the things that happen because they're happening. But if I step out and it's raining, I don't say, oh, it's raining because of me. You know what I'm saying? I take an umbrella.
I kept saying all week I was saying it's raining, and now it's raining. I spoke it into existence. You spoke into hundreds of million people raining, and you did that, right? You spoke it into existence. I can't take that no more.
But we put ourselves at the center of circumstances, and God can't be there then. And now our mindset feels like it's overwhelmed because we're at the center of the storm in a way that we're not covered. We're not protected. We are under assault and we are overwhelmed. And now we are depressed. We are going down for the count because we personalized these situations and made them about us. I'm in it, but I'm not of it. Right? Is that the right way to say it? In the world, but not of the world. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
I'm saying I gotta check because I'm like,
we got you on that.
That's my whole thing is messing up the words. Like, do you understand that? Do you understand you hate somebody that just loves? This comedian guy said the other day, he said, "Yo, everybody who started talking about love and be together got shot." George Carlin, matter of fact. Like, he's like Malcolm X. They killed him talking about love and be together. Martin Luther King, everybody who's Gandhi, everybody who wants to love, all of a sudden they get murdered and stuff. But yeah, I get it.
Man, I just feel like, I feel like I have, so many things to say, but we're already like so far in, and, but I like the way the conversation went because I think that, we had to hear that part, but I, want to continue to encourage people and, just want you to talk a little bit about, because it was so important for, me to meet you, first of all. And I feel like you've helped so many people, not only personally, but the impact that other people have been able to make because you've been, this doula, for dreams, I guess,
That's real.
So I want to say, I just want you to, I don't want to take up too much time, but, I do want you to talk about like how you even came to starting Dream Development. But, and I feel like you said that the episode, not the episode, but of when you talked about, how you knew that there was a God because of what happened to you when you were 11. But I also want to know, like, did God, how did you come to know Jesus too? You know what I mean? So, and I
3 hours. That's like you got like 4.
But I don't know if those two things align, but that's like just what I want to get before we kind of like, tie this in a bow. So
okay. How much time we have? Like 5 minutes?
Well, it's up to you, honestly. So
I'll tell you that how I came to the Lord is that after I had that horrible experience, all I wanted to do was read the Bible. And I did not come to the Lord after that.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's real.
I spent time reading to try to understand who is this God that saved my life. But I was not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to run to Jesus. I didn't. And that's why I said it happened at 11. I was 12 when I accepted the Lord. And I was in North Carolina. It always was so difficult going down south because I felt like this, out of the box kid who didn't really fit in. And I was in my dad's mom's house, and I was at Sunday school, again, not wearing the right clothes. Like, it was all like, So anyway, but there was this.
It's 7 o'clock.
Okay, that was funny. So it was like, it was this card that said, "Let all the little children come unto me." For my, let all the little children come unto me. I transposed that scripture into another one that said, "Come unto me, all of you who are heavy laden and burdened, and I will give you rest." Because I felt like at 12 I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I felt like I was carrying my family. I was carrying my parents. I was carrying my friends, and I was just like, wait, I want to be one of those little kids sitting by Jesus, because I was like, will he take this? And that's what happened. So I actually asked the Sunday school teacher. I said, so what happens? Like, Jesus takes your stuff? She was like, my kid. Anyway, so she was like, yeah, like you can give the Lord your burdens. And I was like, okay, sounds like a plan. So I went to my grandmother's house, went into the room, and I literally said, Jesus, everybody else has failed me. Please don't. And then I didn't feel anything. So I was like, let me go outside. And I said, how do you do this again? And my grandmother was like, if you confess with your mouth, believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, you'll be saved. I said, okay. So I went back in the room and did it again. Because I was just like, because I needed to know that I was doing what was asked of me, because I was holding God in my heart accountable for his word. And then I had proceeded to have the worst 2 years of my life after that. And I say that because I felt like the enemy knew what I did, but I didn't know what I had done. I didn't have teaching. I didn't have anybody saying, hey, let's study the Bible. Like, I didn't have any of that. So end up in high school and meet this friend who you've met, who was like, we met in junior high school, high school rather. And then she just helped me to understand the commitment that I had made. And I think that was the thing that turned things back on, even though I was very clear about trusting God. I didn't know how to do warfare. So that was really powerful. So then, so dream development, 9/11 happens, and I'm like, whoa! And what hits me is all the people who lost their dreams on that day. And I was like, oh my, like that's immeasurable. But then what hit me were the people who were walking through life, sleepwalking through their lives and not living out their dreams. And I wondered what could happen if there's a person who's dedicated to being a midwife to help birth a dream, or someone who can just walk alongside someone for accountability who's already walking their dream out. But I'm a strategist who can help them strategize their dreams. Right. And then my heart was to always get in there, help people, and then get back out and let them do their thing. My last thing I'll say is that I believe that your dream is the answer to somebody else's prayer, to somebody else's question, or to their need. And that we are here to live out our dreams and then bless others in the process. So I love helping people get that done.
I love that. And thank you for doing that. What now? How many years? How many years is it now? Is that 20? Pass.
20. I'm in the 20th year.
In the 20th year. Happy 20th anniversary. Thank you for helping me with
I'm only 12, so thank you.
Right. You started in the negative years when you were like,
there you go, in the womb.
I knew you before I formed you. That's when you would start in dream development. I feel you. Okay. And then, you've been able to help, just numbers and number of people. Y'all go to dreamdevelopment.com, you know what I'm saying, to see everybody and everything.
And you'll see Mia. That's right. Dreamdevelopment.com is about you all. It's not about me. It's about really putting forward the dreamers. Some of them, not everybody, who I've been blessed to walk with. So that's what you're seeing.
Okay. And then now what is, which dream are you working on right now? What's next for Sonia, and how can we support? And how can our followers and listeners support?
Oh my goodness. Prayer, honestly. Prayer is great. And the things that I'm working on now, it's funny, Gordy, when you talk about prison, I think that there are a lot of people who've been in prison for the last 2 years in their own homes. And I feel like if they didn't understand what it might have been like, maybe they have a clue right up in here now, right? And people want to get out into the real world. So what I think that we are in the place of as a community, as a global community, is we're at the dawn of an age. So I will always do dream development. I'm always available in that context. But there are things that I'm working on now that are part of this shift that's taking place, where I'm incredibly attracted to gaming, because I think gaming is a space for storytelling, film, and helping to bring those stories forward, inclusive stories, because it's our time in a way that it never has been. So there are stories that I'm attracted to helping people tell. So what's fun about dream development is it could have been a construction company. It could be a production company. And I feel like I'm in that season of looking at what is it like to help, like I was birthing particular dreams in terms of inclusive stories in spaces of film and entertainment. So that's what it feels like is going on. And I'm just listening for what God is doing and hoping to show up and be there.
Amen. I love it. Well, of course, we support you in that. And of course, y'all, they can follow you on social media, right? Where can people follow you on social media?
Development is Dream Development everywhere, on Instagram, Twitter. I don't really do.
Are we Discording and all of that? Yeah.
I am on Discord, but I'm not on Discord as Dream Development. I do have an NFT. Okay. I have a couple of NFTs. I'm putting them out there. I haven't minted them yet, but I'm on Dream Development as Somoji, which is my little.
Oh yes, I love Somoji. Right. That's what you texted me. Okay. All right. And one other thing we like to do is every segment and every time we have somebody on, we have a Parables from the Projects person of the day. Now, this is somebody in our life that we just, would like to honor today. This could be the season, or it's just somebody that has, just had a great impact on you. You just want to honor them. So we like to, give our guests the opportunity to highlight a person from their lives, tell us a little bit about them, and we like to make them Parables from the Project person of the day.
Oh man, I'm not prepared.
I know I didn't tell you this part, but yes, this is usually what we do. It could kind of be just somebody that that you. Yeah.
Okay, here's somebody who I she's not with us anymore. When I was 16, I went to Pittsburgh and I stayed with a woman. Oh, there's two people. Okay, can I have two? Okay, so so I remember the presence of elders in my life who were not my family members, and there were two women. One is Ruth Keith. Ruth Keith was 78 when she got her bachelor's degree and 81 when she got her master's.
Whoa. Wow.
And she had been an entrepreneur. She had been all sorts of things in her life. And I had the pleasure of staying with her when I went to Carnegie Mellon for a pre-college program. And I stayed with her. And I was so impressed by the fact that she got her bachelor's degree at 78. I was just like, and then there's Mrs. Miles. So let's take it back to the projects. There's a friend who I reconnected with at CCC, who is Mrs. Miles' granddaughter, and her name is Tasha Brewster.
Wow.
And Tasha and I became friends because I used to go sit with her grandma and bring her a pound cake. Wow. And then she was like, my granddaughter's about your age. And we connected and we would sing songs and we have recordings and all the kind of things. And then we were walking in the halls of CCC and I was like, Tasha. And it was like, yo, yes. So, and Tasha's actually, she grew up in another project, but it's downtown.
Wow.
So both of those women just being who they were and sharing themselves with me, giving me their time was beautiful. And inviting me into their home has changed my life.
Amen. So shout out to our Parables from the Projects people of the day, Miss Ruth Keith and Miss Miles, right? Give it all right.
Gotta go. You heard the doorbell.
Yeah, no, this is just the doorbell. That's all right. But yeah, so Sonia, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for giving us your time. Of course, we always appreciate you. We appreciate your story. We know that it is continuing to inspire so many and of course motivate us. So everybody, Sonia has given you her socials, and I'm Mia_@Hall19 on Instagram, Twitter, and Brown Girls Glow 19 on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. And Daddy, you can give yours
on Gorgeous Gordy 9, and Keep the Shape You In, and Gordon Keelan on Facebook.
Yep, and we're at
TikTok. Wow, I'm on TikTok too. Gordy 41. Gordy 40. Oh, my Gordy 41.
Gordy 41. Bam. All right, y'all. So thank you for tuning in. Like we said, leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening to this there, and of course, share with a few friends, man. Let them be inspired. All right, and we'll see you next time. Love you, Sonia.
I'll be back. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
All right, Sonia.
Bye.